Well, hey, this is a nice surprise, and I mean that less in the sense that the movie is good, since it looked pretty good the whole time and it had a pretty stacked creative team, and then that it snuck up kind of on release, right? Though that might just be because over the last decade or so, there's been a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff, and it got a little hard to keep track of where this brand was and who was relaunching. Is this a reboot, another movie, a pilot for a most recent version of a TV show? Which most recent TV show? I mean, all anyone can really agree on is that the last couple attempts at getting a live-action movie sucked both times that they tried under the Michael Bay regime, so now, under the production supervision of Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, the franchise has opted for what just about every other IP that's spent the last decade or so tripping over its own feet and flailing to find theatrical success has ended up going with: copying Marvel's homework. Although now we can see that the blast radius of that whole influence is so wide that the recipe can be putting all three good versions of Spider-Man in a blender: Spider-Verse's 2D, 3D pop art, fusion animation, and hip-hop aesthetic, MCU Spider-Man's authentic youth energy and media-savvy narrative themes, and a shockingly earnest midpoint pivot into I Heart New York Americana straight out of the 2002 Sam Raimi version, and dumping the result all over a big box of vintage Playmate turtle figures from the mid-1990s. And I do mean a big box. This is another start things over origin story where the new twist is to forego, or maybe just leave till next time, I guess, the Ninja Clan rivalry Frank Miller Daredevil spoof business that usually informs the setup of all this in favor of some generous X-Men borrowing instead. So in our new setup, the emphasis is on teenage because the four heroes, having been raised as ninjas in order to hide and defend themselves from a human race that will likely hate and fear them because, you know, they're giant creepy looking mutated animals, are feeling adolescent angst pains about wanting to grow up, go to school, and feel normal, want to use their skills to become superheroes and thwart a mysterious crime wave and turn the public in their favor. This plan gets complicated when the mystery criminals themselves turn out to be a gang of other mutated animal humanoids, a grab bag of fan-favorite characters mostly from the toy line, cartoons, and Archie version comics created by the same chemical accident as them, and whose embittered leader has a world domination scheme and wants them to choose up sides. You can pretty much guess where this is going. Reimagined, but not as much as you might expect, incarnations of all the expected staples like April O'Neil, Channel 6, TCRI, Baxter Stockman, and a nod to the Utroms, and even You-Know-Who are all kicking around as main fixtures, but it's mostly just a little darker, edgier than you might expect action comedy, with a heavy emphasis on Three Stooges by way of jackass battle sequences built around playing the Turtles as being more like a group of actual 15-year-old boys than they have been in almost any other version. So fun, funny, constantly talking over each other in stream of mutually understood internal references, hyper-energetic, alternately annoying but kind of endearing. You know, think the kids from Goonies. On balance, it's a stronger piece aesthetically and thematically than it is structurally. The screenplay is a little on the nose, and you can see the outline of it pretty much right away, like I said, but its heart is in the right place, and when the time comes for it to say what you can tell it really wants to say, it really gets there. You can't argue with success, and the cast really sells what they're selling. It also looks just incredible in terms of the feel and the sound. You can tell it really wants to be Spider-Verse, and the comparison will be unavoidable, but it has a look and a feel and a vibe its own that just killed. Looking like nothing as much as a living 90s watercolor comic in the daytime scenes and the coolest blacklight painting ever at night. You know, to the degree that the appeal of this franchise has always been that it felt like something that its own hyperactive kid fanbase would scribble out in the margins at study hall, Mutant Mayhem is the most authentic translation of exactly that Trapper Keeper full of pen sketches energy ever. When I was the Turtle fan age, watching this would have made me want to break out an entire box of markers and spend all day scribbling and drawing stuff of my own, and aesthetically speaking, I can't give a better recommendation to any animated movie than that. You know, so 9 out of 10, I had a really great time with this. Check it out, man.